Hello and welcome back to Mate's Tottenham blog and to a very special episode of the Tottenham Hotspur Transfer Talk series. I'm delighted to say I'm joined again by Alex, the Euro expert, to discuss one of Tottenham's big transfer targets for the summer, and it is the goalkeeper Mike Maignan from Lille. Before we touch on the rumours about him, first of all, Alex, thank you so much for your time today. How are you getting on?
I'm doing really good, thank you. And yeah, as I said before we were recording, there is genuinely not many players in Europe that I'm better positioned to cover. So this is going to be a really good 10-15 minutes of analysis.
Well, I absolutely love that, and anybody who's watching, I'm sure you love that too. And before we do dive into this video, please do make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already for more of the Tottenham Hotspur Transfer Talk series, plus watch-alongs and the Tottenham Fan Voice podcast. And make sure to go over and check Alex out on Twitter and YouTube. Links for that will be down in the description below. But to dive into things, Mike Maignan is a 25-year-old goalkeeper from Lille that L'Equipe are reporting Tottenham are interested in signing this summer to potentially replace Hugo Lloris, who is rumoured to be moving back to France. Both PSG and Nice apparently interested in bringing the French skipper back home. L'Equipe are reporting that maybe £25 million will be enough to bring Maignan to North London. And I suppose the biggest thing for me in terms of potentially convincing him to join Spurs is the likes of João Sacramento and our goalkeeping coach Nuno Santos, who have worked with him at Lille in the past. So it is a very realistic destination, I would say, for the goalkeeper. And I'm sure a lot of Spurs fans would agree that a goalkeeper is perhaps an area we do need to strengthen this summer. But without further ado, let's bring in the expert. Alex, tell us about Maignan. I suppose we'll start with a bit of his background, if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think when we have these transfer targets, it's easy just to talk about their numbers, and that's what some people can focus on. But this is genuinely a realistic target for Tottenham, so it's worth explaining the sort of person he is. So he was born in French Guinea in South America, and he moved to France about aged 8. And then when he was about 16, he was scouted by PSG and was put into their youth team. And instantly, he was really, really impressive. But in 2015, Lille managed to poach him on a free transfer, which genuinely might go down as one of the best transfers in French football, because obviously now he's worth over about £35 million. Now, at Lille, he didn't get into the team straight away. Obviously, he's about aged 18, 19 when he's moved to Lille. And this is about the 15-16 season. But then about 16, 17, he really started to break through. And since 2016, he's played nearly every minute of league action, and he's really grown into a really strong goalkeeper. And just for his more recent numbers, which you can get into now, in clear numbers, he's kept 28 clean sheets in his last 58 league matches. And wow, for context, that's nearly 50% of his games ending in clean sheets, which is about the same as Ederson for Manchester City, who, of course, including these last 58 matches, that's pretty much one of the best defenses in the world at the moment in the last 15 games. So he's been really strong for Lille. And I won't heavily go into deeper statistics because I know some people can turned off by that. But if people like expected goals, he's saved Lille about 8 goals in the past 3 seasons, just in those raw numbers. So he's really strong there. But just before we go into the type of goalie he is now, it's worth saying he isn't just kind of like a French prospect or anything. When Chelsea brought Edouard Mendy in, he was a bit more from the unknown. Maignan was Lille's Player of the Year last season, and their local newspaper, Nord, that I follow quite well, nearly every week, it's Maignan, the invincible, unbelievable goalkeeper. He just keeps being consistent. And he's only made 5 career errors, 1 in each of the last 2 years. So very safe pair of hands. And I'd like to share my screen now, if that's okay, because I want to show what type of goalie he is, because it's easy to watch. It's easy to make highlights and make any player look good. But with Maignan, he's a bit of the opposite. He doesn't look good on highlights because he looks really boring. But I've managed to pluck out a few things that show his different abilities. So as a modern goalkeeper, he's very quick. So as we can see here is Neymar against Lille. He has just done a fake shot and he's about to pace it to the byline. And Maignan really quickly comes out. And not only does he palm the ball, he doesn't palm ball away anything, but he extremely quickly catches it and he starts a little attack, which shows his pace off the line. It's really strong. Then hopefully if I could get this in order, there's a long ball that's come in from high above. It's literally just above this, behind this black line. It's just about to drop down and there's a crowd of players in the way. But Maignan managed to jump out, climb over both players and punch it straight away, which shows he's really good in the air. And for someone who's 6'1", which is slightly short for a goalkeeper, you really don't feel it. And for the last highlight I've just got here is that a cross has come in. This is against Angers. Andrea are like Burnley in France, really dominant in the air, really irritating. Yes, and we'll call him the French Chris Wood. He's got a header off here, and it's a brilliant header. And this is one of the few times Maignan's caught completely off guard, where the ball, he's flat-footed and he's kind of positioned to collect the ball from a low cross, and it's going to go straight into the other top corner until Maignan manages to take a couple of steps, leap, and literally palm the ball away out for a goal kick. Now, I'll quit sharing the screen now, but with that, that's probably one of the only times you're going to see Maignan make a ridiculous save, because as I was just touching on about his highlights, he's really positionally aware. He's always in the correct position, and most of the saves he makes, I think one thing that's it can be hard to evaluate in statistics, Matt, but he's really good handling at the ball. If he's palming the ball away, it's out for a goal kick. You're not going to get a player who's going to tap it into the goal mouth. And most of the time, he's actually catching or like claiming the ball in these 1v1 situations. So he's really strong in that aspect. And it's a reason why last season, just before we go into a comparison with Lloris, last summer when Chelsea were in for their goalkeeper following Kepa No Hands Arrizabalaga's fall of confidence.
I like that
one. When they were looking for a goalie with hands, they went to the French league, and their first choice was Maignan, but Lille valued him at over £30 million, and Chelsea didn't have that money at the time, so they settled for Mendy. And lots of people in France straight away went, that's clearly the worst option. Like, everyone knew at that point who watched French football that Maignan's a superior goalkeeper. Not a knock on Mendy, because he's very solid, but Maignan at 25 years old is already being talked about replacing Lloris in the World Cup next year. He'll probably be the reserve option in the Euro still. He's like the first reserve, but for the World Cup, he's widely believed to be the first choice because of how impressive he's been in France. And I'm just going to get my screen up again in a second, because I've just got the comparison with Hugo Lloris here. And just because I can bang on about how great he is in French football and how he's amazing, but as you, Matt, and Tottenham fans will know, you want to know if he's going to come into your team and be a Lloris or a hilarious Gomez. And you want to make sure that he's reliable. So I've just got a couple of things here. So this is his pass completion thing. It's basically not taking away long balls, how accurate his passes are in basically his own half. Just as a fun fact, Maignan in the last 2 years has misplaced one pass in his own half.
God.
Every single... Go on.
A lot of these stats you're bringing out are ones that we'd be kind of concerned about Hugo Lloris, like ball at his feet, coming off his line and things like that. So the fact that his strongest areas are those particular attributes, I think is very encouraging.
Yeah, extremely encouraging. He's very... And actually, on a nice note, I haven't got it written down, but I actually looked at his sweeper keeping, because I did think with Lloris as well, I would say as well, you can see 18-19 stats Lloris. I thought it was a bit unfair to take Lloris under Mourinho, where Tottenham can tend to sit back against some teams. So this is Lloris under Poch, where he's more likely to come off his line. And even then, when I looked at the sweeper stats, Maignan made about 10 more successful clearances and actions away from his goal, and he spent more time away from his goal than Lloris. So to calm your nerves, Matt, he's a very strong goalkeeper off his line, off the mud and thing. Just a couple other things. His save percentage is higher than Lloris. Now, Tottenham have got a bit of a worse defence this in the last 2 seasons compared to Lille, which I'll touch on. But still, it shows that Maignan is saving most of the shots he faces. And if you look at goalkeepers across Europe, he ranks in the top echelon very highly. Not quite as high as Jan Oblak, which is why you don't hear him being touted for 100 million, but he's on the level below that. So he's coming up to that level. And then, because no goalkeeper is perfect, and I don't want to make it out as if he's a perfect goalkeeper, because then you're just going to think, I'm telling you about this perfect player who's got no weaknesses. Maignan does have a weakness, and it's his crosses and corners. So you can see crosses stopped. Lloris's sorry. I'll get him to you in a second. So actual crosses, he's not too bad. But when it comes to corners, you can see that Lille have conceded 3 more goals than Tottenham from corners. And it's been one of Maignan's actual weaknesses. He's improved on it in the last couple of years, but particularly last season. he wouldn't flounder necessarily, but he'd miss times these runs out of the goal to punch the ball away or claim it, and it would end up making him look a little bit embarrassed, where a ball would just come into the box and head into an empty net. So it's one thing he has had to work on, and he has improved on it, but it's just one thing to take a look at. And this graph here is just simply to show like the areas that goals have come against Lloris in the last 2 years and Maignan in the last 2 years. And it shows that Maignan's making better saves from open play. And I know that obviously Tottenham have conceded more goals, and that's a product from the Liga and season finishing early. However, it's also to show that, as I was backing up earlier, Maignan from open play is exceptional. 1v1 situations, long shots. He's only conceded, I think, 4 long shots in the last 2 years. So he's really hard to beat from range. He makes everything look really comfortable. And yeah, it's just that, like I was saying, the corner thing is the only thing that he needs to work on. But at 25, he's going to improve on it. And just to finish up, and I'll stop sharing my screen now, is that as well as a personality and why he's perfect for Tottenham, he's quite a strong leader for Lille. He's the main player to get the defence in order, a really strong defence. And he'll be very commercially viable. He's a very sociable guy, goes out into different clubs and parties, but not to like flounder training or anything. He's just very on board with the Lille fans. And at a market value of about £30 million, you genuinely would not get a more prime Lloris replacement. And also, I know you mentioned about the coaching staff, how they can persuade Maignan to come to Tottenham. I think Lloris will actually be a key in that as well. I know he might feel a little iffy about getting his own replacement in, but certainly a year or so down the line, if Tottenham don't get it this summer done, he will be able to link up with him at the French team and say, Maignan, this is the perfect team for you. And yeah, that's some of the information I have there. If you want to ask any other questions that I have failed to miss, I'm all ears.
Yeah, no, look, I absolutely love that. It's an incredible analysis, Alex. I do really appreciate that. And like I said, a lot of those stats that you are kind of touching on is something that we kind of be looking for in a goalkeeper. And like looking at that French League table, for anyone who may not know, Lille are currently sat second behind PSG just on goal difference. And you're looking at the monopoly that PSG have had on that league in the last maybe decade or so. For any team to kind of push, I think Montpellier won it in 2012, then Monaco maybe 2015, 2016, and you need everything really to fall into place for that to happen. And a big part of that is a goalkeeper who you can trust. And a lot of Spurs fans kind of talk about how Lloris is prone to an error. You know, coming off the line, he may be a bit vulnerable. He's not the best with crosses. He's prone to a handling error that allows an opposition to score. And that kind of lack of trust in your goalkeeper can affect the way a team plays. But 5 errors in the last 5 years for Maignan is absolutely incredible numbers, and I think you'd be hard pushed to find a goalkeeper even in the Premier League who will be able to match those numbers. And I think one concern that Spurs fans may have is coming from a league that is not the highest quality. You know, people often joke that it's a farmers league. That completely isn't the case, but naturally there is a kind of a decline in quality when you move from the likes of the Premier League and the Bundesliga back down to the French league. Maybe it's because the lower teams don't have as much money, but for me, like I'm a goalkeeper myself, and I think no matter what team you're playing against or what league you're in, at the end of the day, the goalkeeper still needs the same bare attributes. And the fact that Maignan seems to have that in abundance is really encouraging. And as a Spurs fan, for, like you said, 25-30 million pounds, I think this could be a really good option for us. But
yeah,
the one. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, I was just going to touch on. Oh, you mentioned there about some people have like the mentions about the French league. And like, I could easily sit here and say, and like you said, it's not farmers league, sit here and say the quality is amazing, but I'll level them and say, obviously the Premier League is more difficult, but what the French league is more physical. So actually Maignan coming from there, and you worry about the crosses and things like that, he's probably going to find it a bit easier to come out and claim for crosses, because in the French league, player is a lot more physical and a lot more challenging on the goalkeeper. They're a lot more likely to bully him from a corner. So in that aspect, he should actually do really well coming from the French league. And that's one thing you can always take from France, is that physically, whether it's stamina, pressing, or just holding off the ball, it's where players can actually really thrive there. So just something to mention there.
Absolutely love that. Look, like I said, Alex, incredible analysis, and I do really appreciate that. Before we do let you go, as always, you want to give a quick plug to your various social media?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if you could follow me on Twitter or on YouTube at EuroExpert, that'd be brilliant. If you think I've missed anything, please tweet me or message me. I'd love to know what I've missed. Always willing to learn. And yeah, anyone who I've managed to send to Matt's channel as well, please subscribe to him, because best Tottenham channel out there.
Thank you very much. I do appreciate that. And look, like Alex said, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for a Tottenham Hotspur transfer talk series I'm doing over the international break. 4 different shows looking at the 4 different areas of the pitch. So we started just before this video is uploaded on Wednesday talking about goalkeepers, on Friday defenders, Sunday midfielders, and on Tuesday, I think the big one for Spurs fans, talking a lot about Gareth Bale and his recent comments. We'll be looking at the forward area of the pitch. Make sure to hit a like on this video as well if you have enjoyed it, and make sure to go check Alex out on the on YouTube and Twitter, as he mentioned. And as always, thanks for watching.